The Knicks, they won their third straight game, a big win at Madison Square Garden, 103-87 over the Sacramento Kings. And maybe, just maybe, the Knicks are starting to turn things around. As I mentioned, their third win in a row, this one coming after their big victory in Philadelphia on Saturday. When you look at this game for the Knicks, it really was an interesting game because they were sloppy with the basketball throughout this one. 18 turnovers in the contest, 16 of them through three quarters. But this game really was about the fourth quarter, where the Knicks were dominant. They outscored the Kings 31-15. They took care of the ball, only 2 turnovers in this quarter. Jalen Brunson really did his thing offensively with 28 points here in this contest. But it really comes down, we've been talking about this with the Knicks in their last couple of games. It comes down to the defense. When they show this kind of defensive intensity, they can really put other teams away because we know how good they can be offensively. We saw that on Saturday in Philly. We saw that last week in their dominant 54-point win against Brooklyn right here at Madison Square Garden. And they did it tonight. Did they play the greatest defense throughout this game? No. DeMar DeRozan gave it to them for a bit and the most of 3 quarters, but they clamped down in the fourth quarter, and that was really impressive, along with them taking care of the ball. And that's how they were able to get this win. It was a dominant performance in the fourth quarter, something you like to see about the Knicks, and them being able to do that in a situation when it matters the most. You can go with, you didn't like how they looked through most of this game, but when it mattered the most, they were able to clamp down and play high-level defense, and that helped them get the win, something that head coach Mike Brown liked.
I thought they were self-inflicted, and that's not taking anything away from Sacramento. I thought, we didn't do a great job playing off of 2 feet. And whenever you play off of one foot, you're going to get yourself in trouble. So if you leave your feet with no place to go, you think somebody's open, well, there's a good chance that the defense is going to rotate and take that away, and now you're in trouble when they do. So we just have to do a better job of playing off of 2 feet. I also thought, when we did move the basketball, so we held on to it a little too long, and that's not who we are. It's not like us. We want to make quick decisions with the basketball, and we didn't do a great job with that tonight. But like I said, our guys found a way to get a win.
So you hear Mike Brown talking about the turnovers, and I'm going to focus a little bit on Mike Brown here because I thought there was I won't call it interesting, but a very noticeable coaching decision in this game, and this has to do with his closing lineup. With a little bit over 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, Mike Brown reinserted Jalen Brunson into this game, and he closed the ball game with Jalen Brunson and Deuce McBride in the backcourt, OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges at the wings, and you also saw Mitchell Robinson at center. So not a lot of minutes for Karl Anthony Towns in this game, who struggled a bit with his shot, but Coach Brown went with a strong defensive closing lineup. We saw this in Philadelphia on Saturday. The willingness of Coach Brown to switch to different lineups, to play better defense, to get stops, to get what he needs to win the game. You have to like that as a Knicks fan, but I thought it was very interesting with who he went here. More of his better defenders, and obviously an elite rebounder in Mitchell Robinson, who did his thing on the glass once again in double-digit rebounding. But I thought it was very interesting to see that he went with this lineup. I know it's the front end of a back-to-back, as the Knicks will play the Toronto Raptors tomorrow, but going with this lineup to ensure that he got the win and the team could get stops they needed down the stretch speaks volumes. And you're seeing this a lot from Mike Brown lately. He's going to go with the guys that he thinks can get stops.
I know at the end of the game, we had a group out on the floor and that was playing well, and it's a tight ball game, and so I just rode that group to the end of the game. So, which I've done before, but he went. I think we had Deuce out there who wasn't a starter, and Mitch out there who's not a starter. So, again, we need to get the win. And the biggest thing was, Mikal, was at 37, but other than Mikal, everybody was at decent minutes, especially knowing we got a game tomorrow.
Okay, we know everything that's happened with the Knicks this month, and a lot of it hasn't been good. We saw that 2-9 stretch. We even saw a recent stretch where they had lost 4 games in a row, but now they've won 3 games in a row. And the question among the fan base and among the media and the whole NBA community is, okay, are the Knicks right? Have they bounced back? Are you willing to say that they have righted the ship with this 3-game winning streak? I'm not sure, but I think the least you can say is you like how they've responded to the adversity here. They didn't get down. They had some soul searching that they talked about doing last week after they had lost the 4 games in a row. You saw the bounce back win against Brooklyn, and I pumped the brakes and said, okay, that's Brooklyn. Then you saw a gutty win in Philadelphia, and then I'll say another gutty win here at the Garden in how they were able to claw this one out and shut the Kings down in the fourth quarter here. So at the least, you have to like that the Knicks are responding to adversity. Maybe you don't want to say they're back, and we'll see what they do on the back end of a back-to-back tomorrow. But Mike Brown has talked about responding to adversity all season long, and he talked about it some more tonight.
I told our guys this even before the game. Golden State, we were okay, but I thought the Phoenix game, and I said this before, we played well. The one half that we didn't play well, in my opinion, was Dallas, and I think it was the first half. And other than that, our guys have tried to give it to us, especially defensively. And when you can bring it on that end of the floor, you're going to be able to survive some of the mistakes that you're making offensively until you can get that corrected.
So we talked about that second leg of the back-to-back. That'll go down tomorrow on Wednesday night. Knicks facing the Raptors for the third time this season, the first time since they knocked them out of the NBA Cup. So it'll be interesting to see how the Knicks respond. Can they continue the winning vibes? 3 in a row. Can they make it 4 in a row? This is a very interesting stretch that they started tonight. The first of 10 games in 16 days before the All-Star break, and that has 3 back-to-backs within those 10 games. So a nice test for the Knicks before they get to the All-Star break, as they want to continue the good vibes and the winning ways to see if they can respond to adversity. But for now, tonight, they got their third straight win, 103-87 over the Sacramento Kings at Madison Square Garden. I'm Dexter Henry. We'll always have more for you with the Knicks on New York Got Game. New York City, in the Mecca of basketball, we only care about one team. And in New York Got Game, we're locked in on everything orange and blue. I'm Dexter Henry, host of New York Got Game, where we break down the biggest Knicks moments, talk to the voices that matter, from beat writers, content creators, to super fans like yourself, and of course, former and current players. We're putting a spotlight on the Knickerbockers you need to know. And we're here live to watch and react to the biggest games of the season. From the legends who built the culture to the stars chasing the next banner. This is the show for real Knicks fans. Knicks basketball is different. New York Got Game shows you why. We're coming to you twice a week, locked in on the greatest in this city. Be sure to tune in, tap in, and run with us. Subscribe and find us wherever you get your podcasts.